started really quickly. As I said, we're going to go through last session, but I just want to make sure that you guys are in the right age category. So you should be here if you were born in 2005, 6, 2007, and 2008, as you can see here. This will be our final session for this month and probably for this round of onlines. There will be one for the next online session. So you can definitely tune into that if you're going to be participating in March as well, or maybe some of you here are participating in March and not in February. So feel free to tune in again. That poster will be out soon. But for now, this is the one for this round. So for those of you who weren't here last time, we sort of went through when the book was published, who published it, and we went through some of the principles of the book. So as we all know, hopefully, the book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's by Dale Carnegie or Carnegie.
Close my door.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, okay. And it was published in 1936. So the book is fairly old, but it has stood the test of time in terms of these what maybe some people would call like self-advised, self-learned, self-made books, where they sort of help us out with or talk about, you know, how we can better our communication, better our relationships with people. So even though the book is almost 100 years old, you know, there hasn't been one published since that's as good and as known for its advice on these things, which I think says, you know, a lot about it. So here we have our wonderful book cover. And in our previous session, we talked about what the book was about and sort of how it was structured. So does anyone want to repeat that for us? Sort of help us, you know, remember. You guys can write it in the chat box, or we would love to hear from you. So in case, you know, you guys missed it last time, or of course you weren't here last time, the book consists of 4 parts. So this book is, you know, divided into 4 parts, but they don't all have the same number of principles. So something to keep in mind for maybe the exam questions as well. And each part does dive into various principles on sort of various topics about communication and about relationships. And there are a total of 30 of these principles. So what might be most, you know, sort of important and the best way to approach this book when you're studying for the TeenEagle Online is that maybe for each of these 30 principles, you can sort of note down the examples that were used with it, the people, the quotes. We're going to be talking a little bit about quotes today as well. So that might be a great way to go. And we also dove into some of the different elements of communication. So what we talked about was, for example, why we think it's important to talk in terms of the other person's interests. We talked about if we want someone to really be engaged in conversation with us and maybe feel important and want to speak to us again, we should talk in terms of their interests. Can you guys hear me okay? Is my internet okay? Cassie, can you let me know if everything's okay? Can you guys hear me?
Your audio is a little bit choppy.
Yeah, little bit, some problems.
Okay, so sorry about that. You know what, just give me like 30 seconds to just move to maybe a better spot.
Yeah, maybe in the meantime, like while Anissa moves, we can speak about what we spoke about last time in terms of other people's interests. I don't know if you guys maybe read those principles, or perhaps some of you can engage with the others that are new here today to say why we think it's important for relationships and success in terms of other people's interests. If anybody wants to speak up, then they can. I know you guys were really shy last time, so let's try and get a bit more of a class discussion going so that everybody can sort of engage with each other. Does anybody want to say anything about why we think it's important for relationships in terms of other people's interests, like for success, or even how you think utilizing this principle helps people with winning people over?
Yeah, I mean, we really hope that you guys feel that you can, be a part of the discussion. I have turned my video off just so maybe you guys can hear my audio a bit better. But yeah, I mean, you guys should feel free to, share your opinions with us, because that's the purpose of this. We really hope that you're getting comfortable with sharing these opinions, with discussing with your peers and so on. But, be it as it is, we can move on to something we discussed last time as well. And it's a quote by Dale that says, "There's one way under high heaven to get the best of an argument, and that is to avoid it." So we talked about some ways to avoid arguments, what are phrases that we can use so that people know that we're listening to them, and so on. So does anyone want to chime in on this? Maybe someone either who helped us discuss last time or someone who's new and, has something to share about how we can avoid arguments, why it's important to avoid arguments. What are maybe some techniques that we can use? What are some phrases that we can use to diffuse situations if we see that they are becoming maybe, close to an argument or becoming a bit tense? So you guys can raise your hands. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Okay, we have Song who raised her hand. We'd love to hear from you. Go on. I hope I pronounce your name okay.
Yeah, please pronounce your name for us. So
you can call me Bri if sound is difficult to pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
To diffuse an argument, I think we should understand where the other person is coming from, because most people end up looking at their side of the argument, not the other person. So that makes their opinions clash a lot more. And it makes the argument get a lot worse, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's a really good point. So, Sophie, you have your hand up as well?
I just found this out. Is it okay if I might blend this in with another principle I learned?
Of course, we would love that.
Turns out, I remember distinctly. I remember this one example, the first example used in the chapter actually. Dale was, I think, arguing with another storyteller about where a certain quote came from. From the storyteller's perspective, he thought that it came from the Bible, but Dale knew that it came from Shakespeare. So the two were arguing, and then Dale eventually asked a friend of his. He eventually submitted both of their opinions, I think. Their thoughts to see whether it came from either the Bible or Shakespeare. That friend tried to diffuse the argument by insisting that that quote came from the Bible. But after I believe after that gathering, which was, I believe, a dinner party, when Dale and his friends spoke outside, Dale said that he knew Dale said that his friend knew that that quote was from Shakespeare, since he studied it. But his friend told him that since they were at a gathering, they couldn't disturb the guests, since it was not exactly correct etiquette. And besides, I also learned in another chapter of the book that you shouldn't outwardly tell or outright say to another person that they're wrong, since it destroys their pride, basically. So I think one phrase that you may use whenever you're when you're about to go into an argument, or if you're debating perhaps, or if you have a different opinion than the other side, you could say I might make some mistakes, but let's just look over the facts just in case, or something along those lines.
Definitely. I think awesome. I think that's very beneficial to just sort of let the other person know that we are also aware, okay, maybe I am making, a mistake, or, I can be wrong too. So that's definitely an amazing point. Thank you so much, Sophie. If anyone else wants to, raise their hand at any point in the discussion, please feel free to. we're going to move on to maybe some of the principles that you agreed with the most. So was there a principle in the book that you really agreed with, that you sort of resonated with, and that you definitely think you'll be using moving forward to, you know, sort of help facilitate these better relationships, more effective conversations, communication? If you guys like, you're free to take a second, look at your notes before raising your hand, but we'd definitely love to hear from you. I think for me, one of the a cool principle was, you know, praising the other person during either a conversation, or if you're in a team and they're doing good work, we should praise them. And I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that I resonated with, but I just think it's nice that people feel appreciated, and, you know, that they feel like their work has not gone unnoticed, you know, in any case or scenario. So I would love to hear from you guys. Take a second. If you are not maybe able to turn your mic on, you can write it in the comments, but we'd love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, if there's anyone that's feeling brave like Sophie, we'd really like to hear from you.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the discussion part of our session. So this should be the part of the session where we're discussing. So
yeah, if there are any principles that you agree with the most, and remember that it's your opinion. So nobody can say you're wrong, because if you're agreeing with a principle, that's also your perspective on it. Cool. So we have one in the comments. Thank you. I don't really know how to say your name, but you say, I loved how Dale said that being a good listener is very important. Lola, thank you. And I definitely agree with you. It makes a big difference if someone actually listens to things that you're saying, you know, because they could be quite relevant to the next person. So thank you for that, Lola. Yeah, cool. We've got a raised hand.
Aisha, I believe.
Yeah, it's Aisha. So I don't remember like the number of the principle, but like in one of them it said, try to be better than people, but just like don't let them know that you're better than them. Yeah.
That's a good one for sure.
Cool. Do you like
definitely
that?
One.
Do you feel like you're going to live up to that principle?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah, definitely something to use moving forward. So let me just check the chat box here to see. Oh, her name is Lola. Thank you, Lola. Aisha, if you have something to add, go on. I think you raised your hand again. Yeah. That was by accident?
It was.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. No problem. Okay. So we'd love to hear if there were any principles you maybe disagreed with and maybe had a bit of a different view on, or that you would maybe take into consideration, but, you know, you might use it a bit differently. Yeah, we have some. Avia, sure. Let's hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, and principle for I agree with this principle, because ask questions instead of giving direct orders, and it means before you're asking a question, you couldn't giving direct orders. I agree with this.
Good. I definitely think, yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's very important that you ask someone and not just give them a direct order to do it, because that way you respect them more if you're actually asking them.
Yeah, he's respecting some people, and yeah, he gives us understanding as a quick question instead of. That's all in short. Sorry.
Good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we can move on to a couple of sample questions, you guys, just to sort of get you ready and go into a bit more detail here. But we will have a mock exam as well, which you can stay tuned for. So moving on to these sample questions, you can just write the answer in the chat box below. And, you know, it might be easier than everyone turning their mics on and saying the answers at the same time. So let's go for it. Some of the questions are very detail-based. Some of the questions are based on quotes. So we've included a few examples for you. So let's see what we have here. It says, in the first chapter, what does Dale suggest we keep in our pocket to ask ourselves how to resolve a conflict? So this is related to sort of a bit of a anecdote in the story, which to me was, I mean, quite charming. But let's see if you guys remember. Okay, awesome. A lot of answers here. Going to give you guys a few more seconds. That's right. Okay, so everyone guessed correctly. It's B. It was a $5 bill. In case you guys missed that part of the story, you can go back to the first chapter and review this little anecdote and his suggestion. So here we have a true or false question. It goes, one of Roosevelt's favorite quotations was, "Judge not, that ye be not judged." So let me know if this is true or false.
I see a lot of false coming through. Okay.
A lot of false. Can someone tell me who it was whose favorite quote this was?
Yeah, some of them are saying I see someone said Lincoln said that.
That's right. Awesome. Is that was Patricia said that, and I saw someone else, Patricia and Galaxy. It doesn't say your name, unfortunately, but that's right. Abraham Lincoln was, by the way, let me just give me a second. Cassie, you might have to take over because my laptop is saying it's going to restart soon. But let's try to get through these questions. So what did Confucius mean when he said this quote? Take a look and let us know in the comments.
All right, so I see like a lot of you are saying A. I hope you guys are not saying A just because everybody is saying A. I hope that you really know the answer to that. Heather, so you're asking if this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's in fact How to Win Friends and Influence People. So this is TeenEagle 3.
Okay, if you guys can hear me okay, we can move
you're
on.
back. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So the next one, A was correct, by the way. Good job, guys. I think everyone answered correctly here. So true or false, the author uses the tale of Johnston to show how positive comments make a bigger impact. So make sure all the details of the statement are correct and let us know in the comments if it's true or false.
Good. I saw some of you even writing true before we even read it out. So that's a good sign.
Definitely means you're well prepared for sure.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, because you prepared. That's absolutely correct. So well done for that.
Okay, awesome. And why does Carnegie say, this is the next one. So why does Carnegie say criticism is futile and dangerous? So take a minute, look through all the options.
So most of you are saying D, it makes a person feel the need to defend themselves.
Yeah, you guys are very well prepared. You're answering these super quickly. Amazing job. Yeah, would you like to add something? Yeah.
Can I answer, just say the criticism is futile because it puts a person on the defensive and usually makes him strive to justify himself.
Yeah, for sure. And it maybe puts them in more of a negative space in the conversation than positive. That's definitely correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that one was D. We have Patricia as well, who raised her hand.
I also wanted to add something.
Of course.
The reason why criticism is futile and dangerous because most of us people are not that open-minded, and as you said a while ago, criticism can also lead to a negative side. That's why we have this one principle that said that I think it's the principle of criticism where you can change but to end so that so that you can criticize indirectly instead of directly saying it to them.
Yeah, definitely. Indirect criticism might have a better effect overall, just because I mean our egos are quite fragile sometimes. So doing it indirectly might definitely be a better approach. Thank you so much, Patricia. Just looking at the comments here. Okay, Fardeen asked, I'm preparing. Could anyone suggest how I should take the preparation? And someone answered, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Take notes, it's very important. For sure, for a book like this where you have 30 principles, it might be best to, take notes of each and just take notes of like little stories or anecdotes or even quotes. Like as you see here, a lot of people already knew that the quote we saw wasn't Roosevelt's, it was Lincoln's. And details like that are definitely more likely to be, remembered if you take a lot of notes during your preparation. Yeah, Lola. Thank you so much, Lola. I'm so sorry we couldn't read your name. Thank you.
Patricia's added, also after you read a chapter, you can write your takeaways and what you've learned, as well as some details. Most definitely. And we obviously have an announcement at the end of this about Saturday. So that's also a good way to prepare.
Yeah, we'll definitely give you guys an extra chance to prepare with an announcement in the end. Sophie, you had your hand up for a second. Did you want to add anything? Okay, no problem, Fardeen. Thank you. Thank you for joining, and thank you for, wondering how to prepare in the best way possible. So I guess the last question for now is, would you recommend this book to, your peers or even, to some adults looking to, I guess, make their relationships, both their work relationships and their personal relationships, as good as possible and sort of make them strong connections, make that strong communication? Let us know if you would recommend this book to your friends. A lot of you saying yes already. I know I would definitely recommend this to everyone. Some great tips in this book.
Yeah, most definitely. If you guys want to put your hand up as well and tell us what was the one thing for you that you took away from reading this book.
Sure,
I
Harry,
think it's Harry. Yeah.
I think I would like to recommend this book to everyone that they want to change the way they see the world, their perspective to be a better world, And I think this book has taught me a lot about the social relationship, family relationship, and friend relationship, and other stuff. And they also taught me about how our little accents can make a bigger impact on positive stuff. I
most definitely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Harry. Amazing. Sophie, go ahead.
Wait, what was the question again?
What did you take? What was the one thing that you took from the book? The one main lesson or principle that you found best spoke to you?
Wait, can you guys hear me? Wait,
yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So basically, my takeaway from this book is, basically just to try and get to to the other person's perspective, because I remember this phrase constantly popping up in the book. Well, don't just don't just like, other than just trying to see through the other person's perspective, I also learned to value praise a lot, since a certain phrase, be heart hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise, I believe that was it. Um it kept appearing in the book. So it basically means, well, especially considering that humans respond better overall to praise, and that it would be much doubly better if we were to see it from their perspective. It bas- if we were to ever put ourselves in another person's shoes, then that means we would be able to get the most out of life.
Thank you
most
so
definitely.
much.
Yeah. I see. Is it Sajja? You said we should not criticize people and instead we should praise others and create a friendly relationship. Yeah, 100%. I think I definitely agree with that. I think that the majority of the people here today would also agree with that. So thank you so much.
So just oh, sure, Jamie, you have your hand up as well.
Hi. So honestly, in my opinion, this book is good to read as a general guide on how to communicate with other people and share your ideas without sounding rude or offensive. However, I still believe that meaningful connections can only be made naturally and not based on some words written on a book made by some guy.
Yeah.
Like way long ago. And the principles are good to keep in mind. However, like two things I believe that cannot really be applied in real life is that number one, criticism is still important because sometimes for self-improvement we need to go through difficult trials and tribulations so that your character can go through development and you would become a better person. And number two is that you cannot always praise people because if they're doing something wrong, it's not something that should be encouraged and lifted up. So if you see something wrong, you have to stop it. If you see it, like, for example, your friend is saying mean things, you cannot just tell them, oh, well, at least you're expressing your opinion. No, so you have to say, like, what you're saying is wrong and you should change your way of expressing how you feel about other people regarding certain topics or matters. So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, this is I think it's a pretty good like guide or like a skeleton outline on what you should remember so that you won't be considered rude. Yeah.
Thank you,
thank
Jamie.
you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree about the point you made about praise. You know, there are definitely times when we should praise and times when if we see something happening that we maybe don't agree with or don't think is okay, or definitely if we see there's room for improvement, you know, we can point this out to our friends or colleagues. And then we can even use some other principles from the book to sort of figure out the best way to point this out. You know, if we can't praise, we have to criticize, but we also have to find the best and most effective way to do that without, you know, making our relationship with this person a bit strained or you know, it leading to an argument. So definitely a good point. Aviev, you have something to add for us as well?
Yeah, I recommend it to this book because I like this this text. As leaders, it's easy to get frustrated when people mess up. From our perspective, it's often hard to see how or why a mistake have been made. The essay wrote in these circumstances is to find fault or not nitpick. Yeah, and that approach doesn't work because people don't take well to criticism, no matter how justified it is. So what's a better approach? Yeah. And instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Let's try to figure out why they do what they do, and that's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism, and it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. That's all.
100%. Thank you so much. That's definitely true, and I think a lot of people will agree with you as well. And we have two more, Anissa, in the group, in the chat,
in the comments. Awesome. Yeah. So let me just.
We have Lola that says, this book taught me how to put yourself in someone else's place, like it's been mentioned before. It's very important. It helps us to understand another person. And I think it would make less arguments. And additionally, that we need to appreciate if someone is good in something. 100%. And that all comes down to praise again. Praising someone for something, even if it's better than what you've done, is really important. It makes a person feel valued as well.
Awesome. And then we have Bridget, who says that this book, she says, not gonna lie, this book will really improve your relationship with others. She says that throughout reading these 30 principles, she has noticed that she's applied some of it in reality. So that's honestly good to hear. I'm glad the book is already helping you guys, maintain your relationships, and, you can figure out with time how to use this in a professional setting, in a school setting, in a family, friend setting, anything. You can make the world, your oyster, as they would say, and definitely use this as you see the opportunity fit. Kovi, we can have something from you as well. Yes, we'd love to hear from you. Have your hand up.
Okay. Yes, hello. So for me, I think this book is a good base if you're really struggling, if you're socially awkward, you really don't know how to interact. I think it's a good book to look at the principles, because they really help you out with how to interact with others if you don't know where to start. But if you have somewhere to start, then it's fine. Like what I'd like to pick up on what Jamie said a while ago, that these interactions will come naturally. You can, as you go on, you get more friendly with each other, you get more comfortable, open up more. But yeah, this book's also good if you're struggling. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Most definitely.
That's a fresh perspective as well. Sort of, if you're really struggling with, we all have these hard times, and it's definitely something that gives you a way out. Like, it gives you 30 ways to make it better. Definitely a good point.
So I think the next announcement that you can make, Anissa, I think will answer some of the questions that we have in the chat. So like the question here that we have is, how difficult will the test be, and whether it will ask in detail about the book or the movie. So, and the next one obviously is also in which parts of the book should we focus more. So obviously you'll have to focus on the whole book, and we can't say focus on this part and focus on this part, because there are questions from the whole book and the whole movie. But Anissa, over to you. You can explain to them exactly what will happen on Saturday, and why they should join. In fact, you should join us.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Cassie. So again, as Cassie said, a lot of you have been asking in the chat box here and on direct message as well about, how you can prepare better, and maybe some of what type of questions are there going to be, how detailed are they going to be, what they're going to focus on. So you have the perfect chance to see all of this and sort of see what the test is going to be like on our mock exam on Saturday. So it's going to be this Saturday. Your category, TeenEagle 3, starts at 10:40 UK time. So it's super easy to see what time this is in your country. You can just Google, UK time in Kazakhstan, UK time in the Philippines. So Google is your best friend if you are not sure about the time zones, but be sure to join around 10:40, maybe a minute or two before, and you'll have a 20-minute mock exam that's going to show you exactly what type of questions to expect. It's going to give you an idea of the detail that it goes into, and actually 5 questions from the mock exam will be in the actual exam, in the actual online. So it's definitely an opportunity you guys shouldn't miss. We do hope to see you there on Saturday. And thank you so much.
There was a question asking about whether this poster will be sent as an email. So if you guys just go, and I sent all the links, I'll send them again on Instagram. It'll all be uploaded there as well. We will send that all through to you, through to all the emails. We definitely will do that for you.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have, if you open the chat box, the last message here is going to be our social media channels. Instagram and LinkedIn is where we post all of the necessary like event updates, links. So you can find this exact poster already on our Instagram, and in the caption, you can find the link. But let me, while you guys are, you can follow us on Instagram now. Let me send you guys the link here as well.
Definitely. And there was a question about, do we need to register first before we attend the mock exam? You don't need to register first before attending the mock exam. You can attend the mock exam. Obviously, it's in your best interest to enter before you do the mock exam, but you don't have to.
Yeah, all right. So here's the mock exam link for you guys. And you don't have to register to participate in the mock exam, but if you do want to participate in the February round of the online competition, you have about 2 more days left to register. So on the 27th of January is when registrations will stop. Because of time zone differences, I probably would not recommend waiting until the very last day, just in case like the system closes while it's the morning in your time zone or something like that. We do recommend that you register maybe by the 26th, just to avoid those issues with the registration. So yeah, you guys can register until the 26th for the February round. 26th of January, 28th of January is the Zoom link, the Zoom meeting for the mock exam. So someone said during the mock exam, do we need to enable our cameras and mics? You don't have to do that. There's going to be a platform in which we can all participate in the mock exam through a leaderboard. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, and a good point, actually. We have asked a very good question that I probably forgot to mention. So the mock exam is going to have practice questions, not only about the book, but about your movie as well, Queen of Katwe. So thank you, Avia, for reminding me. That's right. You guys are going to have practice questions from both of your resources this Saturday. Yeah. So definitely don't miss it.
Good. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. It was really a great session that we had with you. Hopefully we see you all on Saturday. But we thank you so much. We'll probably have another session for obviously the next online round. But for now, it was great to have you guys interact with you, see your different perspectives. I know I've learned a lot from you, so thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you guys so much for joining us, for discussing with us, and we'll see you. See you on Saturday and at the online too. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.